It's been a wonderful morning talking about partnerships and promise programs. One of our themes throughout the day has been the partnership throughout the whole ecosystem of education, and we are so delighted to have a panel that reflects the entire ecosystem of education in California and also embodies the partnerships that are underway that are a cause for great optimism in our state.
Thank you, Brian. Really excited to be here and want to thank all the members of the California Education Roundtable for being here and being willing to discuss College Promise, California Promise, in a candid dialogue about the leadership that they offer, the partnerships they have with all of you, and the investments that are going to be essential for success of the California Promise initiatives in the months and years ahead. So we have a goal statement for this session, which is to take collective action with existing and new resources to build and sustain regional College Promise programs to increase, as I said this morning, the college-going rates, especially for underrepresented, underserved students, and increase college completion persistence rates for the state. In doing so, we all know what we will have to look forward to, which is a better educated future for California. So the first question is, tell us why and how a shared California Promise framework would result in a dramatic increase in well-prepared, career-ready college graduates for the 21st century. What do the K-12 and higher education partners need to do to realize this goal between now and 2025?
I'll mention that we think it's essential to partner with the private sector, with the community-based organizations and nonprofits and philanthropy as part of the mix of how we put together the budget for all the resources we need. The legislature, at my urging and many others, some of you in this room, worked together to get the career technical education grants and programs going. And we're seeing a statewide average graduation rate of about 82%, which is up from 74% over 5 years ago. And career technical education courses, the graduation rate's 95, 96, 97%. So students are motivated, they see the real world connection of their studies, and they work hard towards their goal, their dream of a career that they want to go after. And so fostering those kind of programs fosters success, fosters, again, more students getting ready to go to college. Did you all read the good news, a report that just came out last week showing that the number of college-ready students coming out of our high schools has increased dramatically over the last 7 years. In the UC system, it's another 14,000 students. In the CSU system, it's another 61,000 students eligible and ready to come to college and to make their dreams come true. One other thing we should continue to do, and then I'll move on. There's so many initiatives we have underway, but one of those is the local control funding formula. Most of you are aware of that, and the LCAP is your planning and prioritization of what you need in each school district around the state. That represents a $10 billion shift in the budget from Prop 98 to help the students with the greatest need, those students that you want to help through your promise. And so those are the students who are high poverty, English learners, and foster kids. $10 billion out of a $70 billion Prop 98 budget has been shifted and will be a sustainable way to help more students succeed.
We have the master plan for higher education in California that really created the groundwork for a California College Promise. We have all the assets we need. We've got to bring them together. So, like many of you, my experience in my community that I served for nearly 15 years in Long Beach taught me that solutions happen locally. We have to figure out how to promote those. We have to move from, we have to have less talk, more action. We have to commit to our students and do the things necessary to reduce the barriers that we ourselves created between our systems and within our systems, within our colleges, within our multi-college districts. We have to eliminate those barriers. We have to work together to be intentional about doing so. We have to look at the Cal Grant system, the state aid that we do provide. How can we better package students so that they all have the opportunity to complete their education? And we need to think about this in terms of providing more universal opportunity for all of them to get a college credential, but to also ensure that we're creating the structured, clear pathways for students to get there. We have to do the work necessary so that they don't have to do the work. They shouldn't need a PhD to navigate all of our systems. We have to do it for them. We have to create the structure that they need, not just within our community colleges, but from K-12 to community college through all of our university partners.
Yes, I mean, as you heard and we mentioned this morning, the roundtable met. What came out of our discussion today is really more collaboration and work together, certainly around access and success, around affordability issues. We talked about the teacher pipeline, needs of data to enrich some of these, what I just mentioned. But I think what we really walked away with is how can we prioritize around a subset of issues where we can really challenge ourselves and our teams to work together. One of those did come around the teacher pipeline and teacher preparation. I think what we will see going forward is the ICC, which is the coordinating committee, will continue to meet and is going to sift through the deep conversations we had today, and going forward it will be the segments, I think, committed and recommitted to working together for this state. Where I'd like to add there is the role of the independent sector, and I know I'm going to talk a little bit later about some states where we're actively included, but as nonprofit institutions, there's about 78 independent institutions who make up AICCU, so if you think about that, we're really regionally serving institutions. So the regional networks include deep partnerships, whether it's business, community colleges, K through 12, school districts. And it should also, and we also want to be very actively involved in that, the partnerships we bring to the table as higher education institutions that are already in place, because it's not only the access, it's not the pathway, but it's also how you sustain it. How do you really keep those programs that are really deep-setted? So it's a college-going culture, and I think that's where we have the real capacity to add to this.
My answer to the two questions that Martha has raised really centers on the ensuring that we've got a renewed focus on regional partnerships that really are responsive to regional needs. And so with that, we know very clearly that a lot of the work that we are doing now with our students, especially through the College Promise programs, is designed to help us to ensure that these graduates, once they leave us, are able to meet the workforce needs. And in an interesting way, certainly for the California State University, because of the fact that so many of our students are place-bound, they actually enjoy living, working, building families right there in their communities. And so with that, it becomes really important, the kind of work that we're doing now, where we're connecting education segments with the industry, that we continue to do that to make sure that our students are leaving us with the kinds of knowledge and skills that the industries are looking for. But also, we've got to be very mindful of emerging and emergent needs of the industry. So when I talk about emerging industries, think in San Jose, think computer programming, or in San Diego, think biotechnology. But when we start thinking about emerging needs of a particular region, we also should be mindful of what we might be able to see in a recent article that I read that said that manufacturing sectors now are not just exclusively looking at jobs or creating jobs in production, but they're also creating jobs in software. And so looking very carefully there, as well as if you think about the business and finance sector, that at one point we thought that perhaps the best way to prepare students to enter those particular jobs, and we're certainly hearing that here in California as well, is that you would go the business or mathematics route in terms of a major in order to fulfill those jobs. Now that's still good, but the requirements are changing now for lots of business and finance industries, where they're asking us to ensure that our students are skilled in problem solving and critical thinking and technical writing, which is a little different in terms of the kind of training that you would get normally in business and in mathematics. So in order for us to ensure that we are able to maintain the integrity of the College Promise programs, we have to continue to be as responsive as we possibly can to the emerging industries and industry needs.
We had a very rich discussion this morning about ways that across the segments we can unite our efforts to really fulfill a California promise for higher education. I believe that many of these efforts begin and center locally at the University of California Office of the President, for example. We're directly involved with the Oakland Promise and fund out of contributions from our employees 22 scholarships for students who graduate from Oakland high schools to attend the various campuses of the University of California. But across intersegmentally, and by segments I mean the K-12 segment, the community college segment, CSU, and the University of California, there's so much we can do to aid our students in achieving their dreams. And getting the degree of education that they're going to require for today's workforce. And to, for example, really work on that transfer process from community college to the University of California, and really push that transfer message. Right now is a system for every 2 true freshmen, we actually have 1 community college transfer student. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio, and that is part, I think, of the vision of the master plan. If Eloy has his way, we'll be seeing even more community college transfer students. Yeah. But it's not solely about their admission. It's about their ability to succeed and to graduate from the University of California. And I'm pleased to say that the community college students that we receive graduate at basically the same 4-year rate as those students who start as true freshmen. So, and that's a testament to you and to the preparation that you provide for those students. And so anything that we can do to link our systems in a way that, again, is student-focused and really thinks about how a student gets their higher education and how they move from the community college either to CSU or to the University of California, those are the efforts that will stand us well for the future.
So please join me in giving our panelists a great round of support. Thank you so much.